because I'm removing the water value, right? I'm going to remove if Q3 water value is greater than Q3 water plus 1.5 times the quartile range of water. So that means like Q3 plus 1.5 times interquartile range of water. Q3 means this end of this box, right? Q3 plus 1.5 times interquartile. So that's I'm taking taking this value. So Q3 plus 1.5 times interquartile range, right? So this tick is drawn from at that point, Q3 plus 1.5 times interquartile. So if my water value is above that measure, then I'm going to label those as also outliers. Interquartile range. Then I'm going to remove it any. So I'm going to remove it from X labels. So just so it's giving me. So this is the procedure. So I'll fix this issue. So we'll fix it this way. So so I will reload this one away. That part is fine. So this part. Oh, so we will do it in two goes. Otherwise, it's giving some bitwise operator error. Uh, Clean data. Three. Wait, data. Wait. Q plus. So what I have done is in this case, like I have removed like initially we had like 1030 records. So I have removed the outliers from entire data frame, right? So I did not specify any column, right? So, and I want to do it in one go, but somehow it did not take that bit operator. So that's why I had to go with two times, like then we'll try to fix this one using the so let me reload the data frame. Okay, if that command is working properly, that's fine, right? So for some reason it didn't work for me, right? So that's why I tried to fix this one. So if initial command working properly, then that's fine. Sure, right? It's the same side. So anyway, I think you all got the idea, right? So anyway, we don't want to waste more time. Right. So hope you all this command also like someone has put in the chat, right? So and they're saying that command also work in that previous command. So let me read out data frame. If that's why I'm reloading data frame, otherwise it won't give me. So need to be. This is someone send me in the chat, right? So it's my so it seems like it worked. Okay, so if you remove the uh, outliers in water, so we have removed nine records, right? So that's how you can do it uh, for a single variable. Like if you want to remove it for entire outliers, right? So you can go with this way. So let me check whether I'm getting the same result for this one or not. So I'm getting the same. All right, so that is how you can remove the outliers from a given column, right? So hope you all understand the concept, right? So sorry, I got some errors and now it's came out fine, right? So any questions or any clarification that's related to this outlier handling? Or it seems like you all are fine, right? So let me go back to my slide and explain where are we right now. So this is where we have started, like, so we have completed this task right now, right? We have completed this task. This task is done and we have removed the outliers. So now the last one is like, sometimes you are in a situation like you're gonna filter out some data from your available data frame, or sometimes you might need to merge your data, right? So that is the task that now we're going to show you how we're going to filter out data, or you're going to merge your data in Python, right? So after you've done that part, right, so that means you have the clean data, right? So that means our main data clean processing is over. After that, we're going to move on to data pre-processing part. So we're going to talk about these tasks one by one, right? So that is where we're going to hide in, right? So we'll quickly finish this filtering and merging the data, right? So let me share again my. All right. So in order to do that, so I'm going to, I can actually use the same data. All right. So I'm going to use the same data. So I'm going to use the same data frame like what we have used for the outlier detection and outlier detection. That is, I'm going to use it. Let's see. So I'm going to the concrete data frame. Since I have taken out some of the records, so because of that, I'm going to load it again. So now I just load the concrete same data frame. So I just use the describe function to check whether like whether data set is loaded properly. So you can see I have 1030 records for each column, right? So these are the min and max values, right? So this is, I just displayed for to check whether my data frame is loaded properly or not, right? So that's why I have used that command. All right. So now what we are going to do? We are going to filter the data, and then we'll see some example to merge two data frames together, right? So first of all, what we can do, if you want, you can filter one given single column, right? So that's what we have done it for, like previous example, like we were talking about only the water column, right? So if you want, like you can take like water concrete data frame, you can take the, if we look at the water, so now you can see length of this water is, it's kind of a series, right? So if you look at the, Right? So this is right now what came as a panda series. Like if you look at the type of the concrete, it is a data frame, right? So this is how you can filter out if you want a single column, right? So that is not going to be hard, right? So then if you filter out a single column, it's going to be a panda series. If the entire data frame will be a panda data frame. So what we are talking about right now, we are talking about filtering and merging the data, right? So that might be also useful when you are doing the data analytic task, right? So you might not need all the variables or the rows that are for your analysis. So you have to filter out some of the data, right? That is what we are going to talk about right now. All right. So hope you all have completed up to this point. So if any of you are falling behind, like, so please let me know so I can stop sometime and I'll let you to catch with the other fellows, right? So please let me know, otherwise I'll continue the session. So if you have any questions, any concerns, like, please place in the chat, or you can turn on your mic and ask any questions, right? Right, so here we have select the one column, right? So if you want, like, you can select the subset of columns, right? Concrete subset, concrete. So in here, so let's say concrete, cement, slag. Let's see. So ash water strength. Let's take ash water strength. If you look at the concrete dot shape, concrete subset dot shape, so it's containing those many number, same number of rows, 1030, but you have only 5 columns, right? So that is how you can filter some of the data that you want, right? So still we have filtered out only using the column wise. So we will talk about how we can filter in row wise, right? But if you look at the type of the concrete subset will be the data frame, right? Right, so still we are talking about the filtering part. All right, so hope you all have completed up to this point. So if you have any questions, so please let me know so I can stop and explain it again, right? Otherwise, we'll move forward. All right, so we have filtered column wise, right? So now we'll try to filter out, uh, let's say row wise, right? So that's the only. So I'll take the concrete dot head. Right? So how there are in Python data frame, there are two ways how you can extract a row, right? So if you look at this labeling, right? So this one 0, 1, 2, 3, like that, there's the label for each row, right? So if you want, you can extract through just by just looking at the label or looking at the actual index, right? So this is a kind of a label. In this case, my label and index are both are same, right? So sometimes in some data frames, like when you do some kind of a merging or like filtering, like yeah, these labels might be different than the row ID, right? So in this case, row ID and the label is same, right? So if I look at, let's say, concrete location, let's say, so what is the value I'm getting? So that means this location, if you use the just location, it's just the looking for this text, not about the index number. It's just looking the text in this row label. In that row, it will be extracted from this location function in a data frame, right? So this is just looking at the row label, right? LOC function. So that is how you can extract the one row, right? So you can filter out one row, right? So that's how we start with the filtering out with the columns, right? We have started with single column and then we have filter out the multiple columns, right? The same way we are going to do it for the rows in here. So there's another way that you can extract a row, right? So I just said this location is just looking for this label. Instead of looking for label, like it's better to go with the actual index number of the row, right? iLoc is the looking for actual index number. So if you look at the 3, So I think this, so these two other variables are same, right? So that's why, like, only this strength value will be different. Like, so 3 means, like, that means you get in the fourth row, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that means index. So I stand for index. So index based location, you can retrieve the rows, right? You can filter out the rows. So in this case, like this row, right, 41.05 will be returned as the outcome, right? So when you are extracting the row, it's better to always go with the I location, that index location, right? So sometimes this location, this label might be duplicate, right? So it's then because of that, so it's better to go with I location. So let's extract the multiple rows, like let's say row subset, row subset concrete. So I want to extract the 21 to 30 rows for all the columns. So if I look at the row subset shape, so initially I had like 9 columns, so I extract the 9 rows, 21 to 30, right? So this is how you can extract the multiple rows, right? So if I look at the data, so you can see now row subset containing the all the variables for only 9 rows, right? So that is how you can extract the multiple rows, right? So this will be the starting index and this will be the ending index. So ending index, it will take ex not inclusive, exclusive. This end will be the exclusive one. So 21 to 39 will be taken, right? So if I want 10 rows, I have to go with the 31. All right, so now we have filled out some rows using the iloc command. Like, so if you want, you can do the both, right? So you can extract the you can extract some rows and while extracting some columns, right? So this will be the like ultimate like filtering, right? So if you want, like, you can extract, let's say, 4 columns, right? So new So subset will be it again two and third column and sorry second column and third column, right? So this is how you can filter out, right? Row wise and column wise in both, right? If you want, like you can specify the list of columns, like if you want. Let's say hash hash is hash, so 0 1 2 7. So this is how you can extract the, well, so here you have to give the column ID because I have specified the row numbers using the IDs, right? So I location, right? So that's why I have to give the column IDs as well there, right? So this is how you can do the subsetting, right? So I think I have keep these ones in separate. All right, so I hope everyone is clear up to this point. So we are just filtering out some rows and columns, right? Row wise and column wise. So you can create own data set. So that might be that might be useful when you're doing a data science in general, right? So you don't want to sometimes use entire data frame, like you have to filter out some of the rows and some of the columns, and you need to do the analysis, right? So that these commands might be handy when you're doing actual data science projects, right? So still we have done the filtering part. So now we'll looking into merging part. So how we can merge the, let's say, I'm going to enter a data, let's say data one. So I'm going to enter data. Okay, let me explain this one. This is, I'm going to so this is what I'm going to do to merge in. So I'm going to, since my concrete data frame, if I want to merge it, so I have to make a data frame with exact number of rows and columns. Right? Because of that, I'm going to create some dummy data, and I'm going to show you the merging function. So dummy data one, I'm going to create. I'm going to create, let's say my list. It won't be able to put it into columns. 23. Six. And so I have created dummy data using, like, it has three columns, like three list, name, age, and GP. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a data frame based on this dummy data, right? So let's say data frame one is equal to pd.data frame. So dummy data one columns will be name, so this is my data frame one, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can merge two data frames, right? That is where I'm heading, right? All right, so I hope you will have created the first data frame. So I'm going to create my second data frame with the same columns, right? So dummy data 2, I'm going to use some other names. Let me find out using the names. So this will be my dummy data 2, and I'm going to create my data frame 2 using dummy data 2. Data frame 2 will be like this, right? So now I have two data frames, like exactly with three columns, right? Same columns, right? So if you have this kind of data, then you can merge these data frames together, right? So in Panda, we have a Panda concat function, PD concatenation function, right? So let's say final data frame will be my PD concatenate. So I want to concatenate my df1. So I want to concatenate those two data frames, and I'm saying like ignore index. That means, so use the final indexes, like existing indexes will be ignored. Right? So that is how you can merge two data frames together, right? All right, so I hope you will understand how to merge two data frames together, right? So I'll quickly finish the uh, two more concepts, like it won't take more than 5 minutes, right? So just to like how to add a new column to a existing data frame. So right now we have the final data frame, right? So let's say if I want to add a new column, right? So what we can do, so I'm going to quickly create a new column, Python import. So I'm going to just create a new column using random number sequence, right? Let's say values equal to arrange. I need 8 numbers, so 1, 2. One. So this is what is my values, right? So it's an array of 1 to 8 numbers, right? So what I'm going to do, like, I have the final data frame. So let's say I'm going to create a new column called values. I'm going to add this. So let's say I'm going to add these values. Otherwise, so if I look at the final data frame, you can see now that column has added to my data frame, right? So this is how. So only thing when you add in, like, it need to have same number of elements, right? So otherwise it cannot add a new column, right? So this is like merging, like, so merging a column to a existing data frame, right? So this is how you can merge a column. So here, why I have import the numpy library to just to get a range, right? So np.range function will fill the values array using 1 to up to 9 numbers. So that means 1 to 8 numbers, right? All right, so hope you understand how to add merge a column to existing data frame. Let's see how we can add a row to existing data frame. So then we can complete this discussion of data cleaning, right? So let me take a new row. Create a new row. Let's see. The value. So I'm taking one of the names. I don't know whether I have spelled it proper anyway. So then next one will be the age. Have to give the new column value, right? So new column value will be. So now if I want to add this row to my existing data frame, so what I can do, like final my data frame. So final append. So I need to add my new row. So if I look at my final, so I should have that last Malaysia's value. Right, so this is how you can add a row to existing data frame. So this is, you're basically just merging a new row to a existing data frame. So we have talked about how to merge two data frames, how to add a column to a existing data frame, how to add a row to existing data frame. So I hope now we have completed our discussion about data cleaning, right? So now once you do the data cleaning, so next part will be the data pre-processing. So hopefully that part will be an easy one, because usually like most of the data scientists will spend much time on data cleaning, right? So once you have the clean data set, you do the normalization, smoothing, all of these factors. So it's just calling some functions, right? So that will be an easy task. So that is what we are gonna do it tomorrow, right? So now data cleaning part is over. So any questions before we wind up the session? So I hope everyone understood the what are the basic concepts that we went through, right? So we went through the handling the missing values, handling the outliers, and filtering and merging the data, right? So now up to this point, we have completed the first portion of the data wrangling, that is data cleaning, right? So tomorrow we're gonna do the data pre-processing part. Under data pre-processing, we're gonna talk about normalization, standardization, smoothing, and dimensionality reduction. So those four components we are going to discuss on tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow will be the last session for our data wrangling. From next Friday onwards, I think Dr. Samira will take the class and he will continue it with the machine learning part. Right. So any questions before we wind up the session? So all right, seems like you all are fine, right? So thank you all for joining the uh, irregular time for this session, and I will see you all on tomorrow at 1 p.m. session. So, and on tomorrow 1 p.m. session, what we are going to cover, we are going to cover the data pre-processing part. So hopefully that will be the last lecture for data wrangling, right? So we have conduct 5 sessions related to data wrangling, right? So after that, so Dr. Samira will take the class and he will continue with the machine learning concepts, right? So that's the plan for tomorrow and for the rest of the semester, right? So if sometimes if there are no lecturers available, so maybe I'll join at the end of later in the semester to do maybe some of the machine learning tasks. I'm not sure, quite sure yet, right? So main part like data wrangling part will be over by after tomorrow's session, right? All right. So thank you all for joining the today's session. I will see you all on tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.